last year with the 2014 release, and it's been enhanced now with the 2015 release. The hexagon geospatial products are broken down into three groups: the producer suite, the provider suite, and the platform suite. So the producer suite is the old GeoMedia, AirDAS, image station products which produce the data. The provider suite is the engine for providing update and content, and that is mainly the Apollo product and also the ECW compression suite. And then we have the platform suite, which is where we're focusing today, which consists of the WebGIS products, WebMap, Hexagon, the Geospatial Portal, SDI Portal, and also GeoMedia Smart Client and Mobile Works and Mobile Alert. But today, so this new approach of the Power Portfolio makes it easier, simpler, and more sophisticated integrated approach. So as I said, today we are talking about the platform suite, which allows you to create unique solutions on top of a solid foundation of powerful geospatial functionality. And today, mainly, we're talking around the WebGIS, which is the old GeoMedia WebMap and Geospatial Portal products. Oh, just before I go any further, if you have any questions, please use the panel on the right-hand side. In there, you can type your questions, and Amanda will then pick out the questions, and we'll cover them at the end of the webinar. Okay. So the WebGIS overview: Hexagon Geospatial's WebGIS integrates the power of GeoMedia WebMap, Geospatial SDI, and Geospatial Portal products to provide real-time web-based enterprise data access and sophisticated analysis tools. It's also flexible, secure solutions based on standards and a full-featured, multilingual, customizable web applications. So what's new with the web portal in 2015? Well, the big thing with 2015 was last year we saw the ability to do vector visualization in GeoMedia WebMap, and as you can see here now, with the 2015 release, we're able to do shadow analysis. So we're able to enable vector features in 3D, so we can highlight the features, see tooltips and detailed information, and then perform shadow analysis. And we can also use attribution now to actually automatically build or extrude 2D vectors to build 3D cities. So again, in a lot, like the, say for argument's sake, the new Ordnance Survey Ireland Prime 2 database, it'll provide Z coordinates in the building polygons and in the features. So these Z coordinates could actually be used to automatically in WebMap create 3D buildings without actually having to digitize or draw them, just by extruding or pushing up the footprint of the building and making a building model. So a nice way to create building models. And also now with the 3D release, we've also got the ability to measure vectors in 3D on the web. So as you can see on the screen here, you can measure a polygon, measure the height of the building, measure the footprint of the building, and put the coordinates up on the screen. So again, some nice tools with the 3D support now in GeoMedia WebMap, and I'll show some of this later on. So here's just a video of the measurements now in WebMap 3D. So you can see first off here we're doing the extrusion. So they're showing the building height based on an attribute. You can also create the building height yourself by entering in a value for every building, or you can use any attribute from the underlying database itself. So again, you may not have drawn a 3D model in your city or your town, but you can very quickly build one just by using known attribution. And again, here you can see the shadow extrusion. As they move the clock on the left across, you can see the shadow moving to go with the building based on the time of day. And even now they can use the measure tools then to actually measure the size of that shadow based on the time of day. So again, very nice functionality. Oh, show the video again. Big thing across all the geospatial GeoMedia platforms this release have been the addition of business graphics. So in both WebMap, GeoMedia Smart Client, and GeoMedia, you can now create pie charts and graph charts and publish them on your maps. So it allows you to illustrate your analytical results and provide better statistics either internally for printing or across the organization. So again, nice functionality, very simple and very actually easy to configure. It's just another type of thematic. flow by, you can just say which type of graph you want to use, set it against the attribute in the database, and then it will automatically create a chart for you. So very easy to do. One of the tools I really love from the Hexagon Geospatial Suite is GeoMedia Smart Client, and with the 2015 release, some of the Smart Client functionality, the workflows have now been exposed and can be integrated with Geospatial Portal and GeoMedia WebMap. So now you can build your workflow and then publish it out to the web map, and people can use it and do spatial analysis that way. So again, it allows you to run these workflows directly in your browser, but without having to start up Smart Client, but still use it inside your web map client. So again, I'll show you that in a few minutes. Big, nice release this year with the WebMap portal. WebMap has been Geospatial Portal for consumers. So again, something that we in IMGS have been working on for a long time is publishing maps to the internet so that public citizens of local authorities can access the geospatial data in a user-friendly, easy-to-use way. With the consumer portal, Hexagon now created a very modern, slick-looking client that allow you to provide this spatial data out to an easy-to-use method for consumers and public users. So it allows you to make simple but powerful sites, and these can be configured and deployed with 3 clicks, and again, a big thing with this is no coding is required. Again, it supports both 2D and 3D, and it enables your public websites for both desktop and mobile users because it's not using any heavy clients or applications. This is then very responsive and will work on all clients. So again, just to give you a quick video of that. So you can see on the client is very clutter-free. You just have your map view, and you've got like 4 buttons. The first button is your map compositions, which allows you to drag a map onto the screen. It will then center the map to whatever the default extents are for that map composition. You can easily move from one map composition to another. So again, very user-friendly. If they know, you have a composition for planning, a composition for water, you can just drag these on very quickly. The other thing with the layers here is you can change the transparency very quickly, or you can turn on and off features. Again, very Google-esque. You can just have one general search which goes across all your tables, very like the quick search that we've had in Location Publisher for a while, and you also have in Smart Client. You just do a quick search on the feature, and it'll then do any search. The point you put in the map, you click on the more info, and the details are put on the right-hand side there. So again, nice user-friendly functionality there. And that's a new addition to the suite, so anybody on maintenance will be entitled to that. Okay, so that's a brief summary of what's coming in the product. So I'm going to jump out and actually give a demonstration of them. So I'll create a new link here. So today I'm going to actually use, for change, we usually use do our own demos, but Kieran this month with lazy, so we're actually going to use the online demos, but it really is a good example to show you everything we're showing today. Once you finish up with the meeting, you can actually go online. So if you just go into demo.hexagongeospatial.com, you can actually see these websites and go in and play them yourself. So from the provider suite, we have the ECW AirDot Apollo for sending up imagery. And we also have the catalog tool there as well for handling big data. We've also, if you have time, you can have a look at some of the workflows in GeoMedia Smart Client. And then today I'm going to show you some of the functionality available on Consumer Portal, on the GIS and the web and the web map, and then show you some of the 3D functionality as well. But if you want to, after this, go on yourself, just go to demo.hexagongeospatial.com, and that'll bring you to it. The little document here, that gives you instructions. So if you want to follow the steps and examples of searches and things, you can use them. So that's just a PDF which you can open up, and you can see the file, you can download it, or you can view it, and all the instructions are there. So again, very easy to use, very easy to follow. So I'm going to start with the consumer portal, and I'm going to show this web application, and I click on it. And give it a second. Be sure, hopefully, I have the connection. It was working. Yeah, there we go. So straight away, you see we have our, I'll just go F11 here. We have our screen, and you can see it's very clutter-free. So on the right-hand side, oh, I got this little bar maybe way. I got my, yeah, I got that out of the way. I had my webinar bar blocking me. So on the right-hand side, I have 3 buttons. I got the map compositions, and you can see we've got the maps, and they're shown nicely. So I can drag that map onto the screen. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Drag the map onto the screen, and on will come the data. No, I'll just throw that in just a second. My browser's just playing up there. And you can see my Facebook page. So I'll go back to the page. That's extremely important. We'll drag the map on. Oh yeah, that's the world map. So if I drag on the rainfall, you can see the map then moves over and centers on that area, shows the rainfall map. I can also then go to the feature itself. If I want to turn that feature off the map, I can turn it off, turn it on. I can see if it's hidden. I can turn it on, and then I can see some more information about it. And you can also drag and drop the priority. So I want to put the OpenStreetMap behind it. I want to put the climate map above it. Very easy to do. On the climate, I can change the transparency, move it above. And you can see the transparency as I move it across. So I can let the feature in, and I can use it. Again, I go back to my composition. If I want to put on the Rotterdam aerial imagery map, throw it on. You can see now we've moved out into the Rotterdam imagery. We're now getting nice area photography coming in here as well. My connection's a bit slow because we're running the webinar and the online demo at the same time. And I can zoom in, and you can see the nice imagery coming in. And I can also draw a box. I don't have a mouse with me there, but you can draw a box by holding down Shift and your mouse together, and you can then do a zoom box, and you can move around. So you can see it's very, very clear, very clutter-free. I can also go back here and go to my California map, throw it on, then moves to California, turns on the layers. I go to the layers. You can see we now have our seismic hazards again. I can change how obvious they are, bring them to the front, change the transparency, and you can make them really, really heavy. So again, very, very useful. I can do a search here. I type Allah, hit search, and without even hitting the search button, it starts throwing back answers. So I can pick the Alapachio River, and it'll zoom to that river. And if I go back to the search, it still has them from the last one, so I can pick another city, and it'll go straight there. If I click on the record, I click on the more info, it then gives me the information on the details panel. So again, very easy to use, very clutter-free, and if I right-click on the map, you can see it's just an image. So no accessibility issues, will work on any client. Very easy to use, very clutter-free, and it should be easy then to integrate with your enterprise websites and your maps. And again, if you hover over any of these tooltips, you'll get your tooltip of what it is, and you can see the information. So it's quite a very slick, very simple user interface that actually will be very useful for public users who are going to be using the application. Okay. So that's the new consumer portal, new product. It's part of the WebMap package, very user-friendly and easy to use. So something definitely I think you should be looking to use. And what we'll be doing when we have our geospatial user group in September, and I have the dates on the presentation at the end, we'll be showing all of these demonstrations using Irish data, showing you how to set them up and what's involved at that stage as well. So hopefully you can come along and see that. So I'll go back to my demo portal page, and now I'm going to show you GeoMedia WebMap 2015 in the 2D version. Wait for the page to come back, and scroll down here and go to GIS on the web and hit it on the link. So, as you can see, this year with the Power Portfolio release, you have this blue, orange, and green product releases. So you'll also notice anybody who's a GeoMedia desktop user or a Nodgen user, you'll see the color of the icon when it's on the bottom. It's in a smart client. So for the platform, it's blue. For the desktops, it's orange, and then for the other product, I think it's green. If I'm right. So straight away, you can see this is the new 2015 application. We have our nice, easy to use controls for zooming around. We have up here our map topic buttons, very similar to what they have with the consumer map, being able to press on one of those buttons on the side. But as you can see, this here is more of a GIS on the web. We have all our measurement tools. We've the ability to connect dynamically to web services. We can do selections. We can do searches. We've even got our time slider that Kieran showed last year with the Dublin City planning data, where you could go across the city and see the information. So this is, again, a more advanced system. It's not meant for public use. It is meant for internal use, but it provides a way of analyzing and using information. And you can see the first thing on the map is, with this US map, is we have our pie charts being published out. So we can turn them on. If I go over here to the education, it's just a layer on the map. I can turn it off. I can turn it on. I can select the filters. So if I only want to see the pie charts, sorry, too many clicks there. If I only want to see the pie charts that are in New York, click OK, and it should go away and do that search for me. And you'll see now in the top hand right hand corner, I've only got the New York filter. So again, this is stuff that Kieran showed last year, and the last time we showed the WebMap webinar with some Irish data. If you want to look up that, it's on our website. If you're fed up with your filter, you just hit the red filter off button, and away goes the filter, and they're back on as normal. So again, been able to set up these nice little pie charts. Very nice way of showing information. So this one is this education breakdowns. We can also go to climate, and what we'll see here is bar charts, and you can still see this is, I think this one is rainfall. So you can see over on the west coast what's getting, and then in the desert areas here is different in the rainfall. So again, it's rain versus snow. Okay, so yeah, you can see the different breakdown there over on the US as well. So any kind of little charts you want to publish out, you can do it. And as before, with Portal and with WebMap, you've now got the nice controls that you can zoom in on. You've also got zoom previous. If you want to zoom back to where you were, you can zoom to the next map view. So you can jump back and forth. We zoom in, we fit all if you get lost. And as I said, like with the consumer portal, you can switch. You can have as many of these map topics or map compositions on the top as you'd like, and you can move from one to the other, and it'll remember not only the content data that's on the map, and your legend will change if you change, but also the location map or the default extent that you set up for that map feature. So we've also got the ability, so if I go back to my US map here in the States, you can see we have our states here. They're coming in at the minute as PNG. If I want to, I can go in here and change the format to be SVG, and then the map is now regenerated as an SVG, and it's fully interactive, and you can click on it, and you can see here the hover over. It's now interactive, and if it was as PNG only, it wouldn't do that. So I can put it back to PNG, and it's now done, and it won't interact. Again, this is a good way. You can select what layers you want to publish. as PNG, so it's fast, and then for the ones you want to be interactive, you can set them up as SVG. So again, very dynamic. You've also got the ability here now, you've got a few more buttons up here. So one of the buttons we have is the data window. So if I click on the data window, you now see all the features that are available in your site. I can go to the US demo site here. I can say states, click on the states, add it to the demo, to my data window. I've now got a list of the states. Good thing with the new data window is it's movable, so it's not stuck inside the application. Again, I'm a bit restricted for space here because of the webinar, but by the big screen I could use move my data window out to one part of the screen, have the map on the other, and I could, or if I had dual screen, I could have one on one side and one on the extended screen. So again, I can take a record here, I can zoom to it, so I'll pick Florida, click zoom, should do it. Yep, just takes a second with the connection, and it zooms to that record, and again I can click a different record, Arkansas, zoom to it, and the map will refresh. I can also take the information and add it to the clipboard. So I want to take this Alabama record, put it in the clipboard. It's now in the clipboard. I can then say export this feature to the file, so I do that, and it's now in a file called states. There you go. And it's in the information, or you can copy and paste, and you can remove from the clipboard. So you can actually have multiple records in the clipboard, so you can build things up dynamically, get the information in, and you can throw them in. And again, you can put as many areas as you want. So we were looking at earlier on the traffic information, so I can put my roads to renovation and add that to the map. And that's now in there, and you can see them and you can inspect them. And you can also look for more information on the record. So if I click on the roads, you get the detailed screen. So if I go back to the states, I can actually bring up all the information. So if you had more than 3 columns, or if you had 20 columns or whatever, you can see them in the detailed screen. I like this new data window. Very jazzy, very easy to use. Again, I like the fact that it's been lifted out of the browser. It used to be kind of on the bottom, wasn't it? So this makes it a lot more easier, and you can page through records and see everything a lot more easier, and you can also output the whole table to the clipboard or move through it. So again, nice new way with the 2015 release of tidying up the data window. Again, for people who are doing analysis, doing information internally, it's a good way to get at that tabular information and use it. Okay, and all right, so I'm doing okay for time still. Yeah, so maybe some of the other tools while I'm still in here playing. We've also got the normal print functionality, so you can print your template. You can print out you can see now we've also got the option to print the PDF, landscape template, A0 to A5, orientation, scale. You can change put in a map title, put in a produced by, select what's in the legend, hit print, and it all will go and create that PDF for you. Oh, blocked up, so I'm getting blocked up here. I won't fire it up, but yeah, the PDF is, I hope it doesn't refresh me. Yeah, so the PDF is getting blocked there. I'll do it again, print. It's blocking me. Okay. Okay, so you can see now you have a nice print control there, and again, that's been slightly improved with this new release. We have our data window. We have our, this little button is interesting. Click on it, allow, and it's going to try and use your location, and it'll try and calculate where you are. Now with a US map, it's not going to work, so try with the world map. Do it again, and it should figure out I'm in Ireland. Oh, OpenStreetMap's not on. That's why. Okay, so that again, what it's doing is it's doing your assisted GPS to figure out your location, and it'll go to that location. It did work for me earlier on, but I think maybe I'm getting bounced around here. So I'll go back to my previous map view, and I'll just fire up my US map. Okay. and you also get your logs and things as well. Another area, let me just zoom in first to get to an area, and then we'll do some measurement. So if I zoom in along this area here, so you've got your measure tool, so I can put a point on the map and get the coordinates. I can also draw a line and do a measurement of this boundary here, and you can see your lines, and we can do a polygon as well, and you get the area. It's all nice little tools. If you don't want the measurements, if you want the red line, you can turn it on and off. Again, I'm getting you with the 2015, and you can clear those measures as well. We also have similar kind of selection tools, so I can draw a polygon, select all the features in the map, and there they'll all be selected. Oh yes, there's no selected features on that one, and they'll select them if I had them highlighted. And we can do searches, and again we have the time control. So if I go to the climate map here, turn off my precipitation, turn on the WMS service, what we'll see here is the rainfall across America. If I move my timer control, we can see that the rainfall moves across at certain times and where it was at a certain date. And again, we showed that on our last demo with the web map with the planning information. As long as you have a WMS with a timestamp, you can report on time on any feature. And then the final thing we have is the ability to add in the workflows. So in the Smart Client workflow, you can actually call the workflows from inside in your geospatial portal or your web map portal. So in this case, there's been two published out, and that one is the area modernization. So I'm going to go over to Poland. This is Lodz. If you're wondering why it's in Lodz, this is a little city near Warsaw. It's where the Hexagon Geospatial Development Team for GeoMedia WebMap are based. So this is why that all the new stuff is coming out of Marek's team in Lodz. And so I want to do some area modernization. So this little workflow is to allow people to select which areas of the city they want for budget to be invested in. So first thing I'm going to do is turn on these areas that are being designated for modernizing or for capital investment. Oh, something I didn't show earlier on is with the layer control now, you can actually drag features to the top, and then that changes their priority, puts them on top of the map. So I've now put the modernization on the top, and I can call my little workflow. So I click the button on the workflow. By the way, this workflow does, I think to tell the guys in Hexagon, it seems to work mainly on Chrome. Let's check why that is, but it could be to see a pop-up thing or something in IE11. So you can go into your community budget, you can press next step, you can go in and fill in your information. So I'm making my submission, I put in my number. You can know it's Poland, they actually ask for personal numbers in Ireland. If you try that trick, you'll be in trouble. And we fill in the rest. I'm not going to do the rest. So the next thing you do is you select. Now it says to select area, so I'm going to say, yeah, I'll select my area. I pick an area on the map, so this little polygon here. It selects it. You can see it's now green. I'll go back. Oh, it's not Chrome. Right, here I am. And you'll see, oh, that didn't like that one. Oh, the area name, didn't pick it up. All right, let me try it again. Select the area. Oh, I think that one didn't have any information on it. Right. So I'll take that one. And pop back. Yeah, and this time, yeah, maybe that was a dodgy looking one there. It's not drawn properly either, so it could be a test one. You can see it's area 3, 23, and the information is brought back. So what happened there was the workflow talked straight to the map, got the information, populated it. I've now said this is the one I'm interested in, and they've popped back the information here with the current scores as to which vote's getting which and which area is going to get the investment. All the page here on this little panel here, all created through the Smart Client workflow, but then able to publish out through the geospatial portal. So again, we have customers who are using this client who might want to put some workflows into it, who may have some existing, you may have, if you're already on WebMap and you're using the geospatial portal, and you don't want to force your users to jump fully over the Smart Client, you can actually expose the workflows here in Geospatial Portal, and they can use them there. So again, that's a nice integration because I really love Smart Client. I think it's a great tool, and I think we'll be having a Smart Client 2015 webinar, not next month, but the month after, because we've got some really good stuff. And one of the reasons Kieran wasn't doing an Irish WebMap demo was he's been busy building a lot of new functionality on the 2015 Smart Client, and I got some. I think it's some really good stuff, isn't it? Yeah. Particularly, we always find out new things. Data capture now, we can even do panning while zooming. Oh, sorry, yes, panning while capturing. Yeah. So there's some really good stuff, and also those business graphics that we've shown today. They're available in Smart Client, and Smart Client have also exposed a consumer map type application as well for responsive users. So look out for that webinar sometime in June. That'll be a really good one. Okay, so that's the 2D version of Geospatial Portal. So I'm just going to jump back to my little page. And this time I'm going to go to the 3D version. Now, the one thing with the 3D stuff is you do need a wee plugin, so you have to download that plugin first. Oh, actually, yeah, I think on my machine it's on the IE. Yeah. So let me just put that on this one. I installed the plugin on the IE browser, so I'm just going there again and run my 3D GIS. And so when you go into 3D mode, now you can switch dynamically from 2D to 3D, but the data we have here is in a different location, so it's on a different site. But internally, you can use both together. You can see everything is pretty much the same. The only difference is we've now got this little menu down here saying 3D. So you can see the map generates. Now, the 3D is a little bit heftier on the graphics card and on the processor. And I don't know if you can hear it, but my machine is just starting to whir up here. So I think that some of the processing, it's me a laptop, is definitely starting to kick on. So a couple of things that's coming in the 3D. The first one, which for us in Ireland is really useful, is this ability to create your buildings on the fly using an attribute or extrusion value. So you can see these buildings that are on the map now, these aren't actual 3D objects. These aren't like SketchUps or whatever. These are just 2D vector polygon shapes of buildings which have been extruded based on the Z coordinate in the attribute. So every building has a Z coordinate. That Z coordinate has now been used to build up the height of the building. So if I drop down this, you can see we can still do our normal thematics. So I'm going to turn off the public buildings. I'm going to turn off the others and just leave the commercials, and then we can see them very nicely clearly. And then on the commercial, I can say, right, what extrusion are we using? Well, we're using height at the minute. So I can turn that off, and you can see without the extrusion, it's just a flat polygon. There's no actual value in it. There's no 3D volume. But if I go in here now, I could actually say, well, use the floors. So if the floors value, it tells you, but not every feature has the number of floors. But I could also go in and say, no, I know all the buildings of these type are 65 meters in size. And you can see as I'm typing them, the values are coming up and the extrusion's in there. But actually what they've done for the demo, which is very accurate, is they've used the height value for the building. So each building is then generated based on its own height, and we can now see it, and we can pop around and see them all. So that's really very good, because I know, especially us here in Ireland, we wouldn't have 3D buildings digitized for all the buildings in a city or a town, but you might know their height, or you could infer their height. Or I know one of our engineers, Kira, did some work where she took GeoDirectory and clashed it against OSI data, I think it was Prime 2 data, and was able to then generate a height model. So again, there's lots of ways you can build these models. So again, I can turn these back on and you can see them again. I think that's really jazzy, like that extrusion. Very nifty, very quick way to get 3D information, because this has always been the challenge for us when it comes to 3D data. It was just we didn't really have enough data in that area and it's still being generated. But there are more and more 3D information and 3D data out there. So I'm going to throw on the actual 3D objects that we can use. So these are objects that could be generated from KMZ or from SketchUp. So they're actual 3D data models. These aren't being created by WebMap. These are being consumed. There's a tool, what's the M-Transform, was it? Yeah, so there's a tool that's used to generate these, and you can bring them in and analyze them. So you can see when these are turned on, they are a bit hefty and they do take a bit of speed, and I'm coming over the internet here and multiple connections and everything, and this laptop wouldn't be the quickest. But we can do the same kind of analysis I showed you already. So I can put a coordinate on here and get the height. I can do a line measurement, so I want to line that, measure that building. You can see the height, they're the same, it's just strange. And we can do the same as before. We can show and hide the measurements and put them on and delete them off. We can also then go to our analyzes the 3D features, and you can see we have our little sunlight. So first thing I can do is I can say play, and you can see the shadow and the night going back and forth and the day going across again. So I can pause that, I can go back, or I can actually just do it myself and set the time, see the shadow, and move across and move back. And again, this is all through your web product. So, and I can change the date. So if I want to go back to a different time in April, I can even change the zone. So I can change my GMT, I pick up my color and get the time, and I can move across. So very useful, all coming through your web client. Okay, for the 3D you need that little, it's the my MDR plugin, but very makes it very powerful. Okay, you need a lot of kit, but whatever 3D data you have, be it in SketchUp or Google or whatever, you can publish it out or build or very quickly build 3D models and do analysis, as well as being able to flick back to your 2D information. So again, we have our 3D, but you can go back to 2D and you can call the overview window. And just like in the 2D version, I can actually select a different location. So this is another city, Yara, and you can see we can jump in here and see other buildings. Give it a second to come back. And it's building the buildings here again. These look like the real deal. These are proper 3D models. So a little bit slower to build, and you can overlay that data on whatever maps you're getting. But very useful to be able to get this kind of heavy information and publish it through the web and allow people to use it, analyze it, and make decisions. And again, if we go to the Beep Sahara one, you can see how it jumps across the world and pops up. This is the forestry area, and you can publish this information out. And I think I'm giving my graphics card when it's doing this stuff. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's whirring away here as it generates these. Oh. Oh, that's it. I'm in the middle of the night, aren't I? Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, very good, Kieran. Yes, I was doing it in the middle of the night. That's we're going from different views. So all very nice kind of functionality. All right, so that's the new features in 2015. If you are interested in seeing more about the web map or seeing some of all the other functions it is, we do have some older webinars online that you can look at. Another big thing this year is they have released a lot more documentation. So there is a documentation portal where if you go to the Hexagon website, you can get more information about the products, about support and how to use them and everything like that. I think just there has been a hands up. There's been a bit of it hasn't always been the greatest documentation, so they are trying to improve that and make it better. So this is summarized with the WebGIS, what came in the 2015 release. You now can deploy the geospatial portal for consumers. So again, no coding, so not as expensive. And I think very much an improved user experience and easy to use for non-experts. Vectors in 3D, so improved decision making and faster interaction. You can now do the shadow analysis, shape extrusion and measurements. Again, we've got the business graphics, which is a big thing this year. And I think for all those people who have geospatial portals and want to integrate with the workflow manager, you've now got that option as well. A couple of examples of people who have been using it. Bibsra, I pronounced that totally wrong, National Park in Poland did a public 3D website with tourist information, and they tied it back to their GeoMedia and WebMap to share it around the enterprise and organisation. And Yara City Council used it to do urban planning workflows, supported by 3D to verify plan, look at prove shadows and measurements to support the planning process. So just to wrap up before we do questions, you can stay connected with us. We have our LinkedIn page. You can follow us on Twitter at IMGS_Ireland. We have a lot of webinars now up online. You can see today's WebMap will be up by tomorrow, I'd say. We last month's Spatial Analysis webinar. We had the GeoMedia 2015 webinar earlier in the year. And if you are looking at seeing some of those smart client workflows before June's webinar, you can see some of the last year's versions up there as well. And we have the FME Desktop 101 coming up next month. If you want to come along and see some of this stuff and meet us in the flesh, our annual user conference is on the 26th of May at the Leary Golf Club. This year we've got some very interesting speakers from a number of national agencies and some good projects, which Amanda will be sharing information with you, I think, in the next week or so. We also have the FME World Tour this year, which is a bit late there normally. So this year we're actually tail ending the World Tour. I think we're the two last cities, with Dublin on the 29th and then the next day in Belfast. So all the FME users, hope you can come along to that. And as I said, we have our geospatial user group where we'll be highlighting this kind of hexagon geospatial technology. And Kieran will have lots to show on GeoMedia, WebMap, and Smart Client. And so showing all these demos on local systems with local data. And hopefully you can come along, spend some time with us and see them. And we've managed to give ourselves a bit of a day in between breaks. So we're on in Dublin on the 22nd and in Belfast on the 24th. So I'm just about on time. Any questions, Amanda?
Yeah, one or two just came in there. The first one was, what's involved in bringing in 3D objects?
Well, the 3D, if you're bringing in the 3D objects, I think we said, was it Google?
Yeah, you use an application called M-Transformer, which is available with WebMap as well. And what you need is DEM and also KMZ for your buildings, and then if you have any rasters, and the transformer meshes the three of them together, and you can display it in the portal then.
Do you need to do that if you're using extrusion?
No. No, for the extrusion, you just need a Z value on your data, on your building data.
Okay, well, that's good. Anything else on it?
And one other one, what 3D objects are supported?
KMZ, and the DMs that they support is just tips at the moment. That's the transformer, and then rasters, tips and rasters.
And SketchUp as well for the...
Yeah, KMZ, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
all right, okay. All right. Okay, I think that's all the questions. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's everything from us today. Thanks for your time. I think another good turnout again. Hope you can come back next month for the next webinar, and hope you all have a good day. Thank you. Bye, everybody.